Hello, and welcome back to Trailblazer MTG. My name is Paul, or Prop, and in this video we will be playing the Round 3 match of the Trailblazer Discord May Asynchronous League. For this week, the deck tech preamble is going to be slightly different because we have a mirror match on our hands. So this is... my opponent for this week is Hiatus, also on Temur Scapeshift. Full disclosure, the list that I brought to this league is actually based on a version of their deck that I took, tinkered around with, made some changes, went in a couple of different directions, and then kind of came back together. And going into this league, we do have different decks. So yeah, we're going to look at the things that are unique to my deck, that are unique to their deck, and obviously discuss a bit of the crossover there. As you can see on screen, my deck has 34 cards that my opponent's deck doesn't, which means we have a significant, almost exactly a third of our deck is different. And so one of the things you'll see in my opponent's list is they're a lot heavier into 3 colors. I dip into 4 colors with Omnath and then 5 with the Deathrite Shaman, but that's really just for the activation. There's like one there's one land which generates black mana that isn't a rainbow land. And I have a couple of ways to create white mana because Omnath is such an important win condition in the deck that we're talking about. But you can see this is a lot of the cards I have here are very green based, and when we scroll down and look at Hiatus's cards, a lot of the differences between our deck are they have a much heavier reliance on red. They have a few more blue cards in the list. One of the things we can note, it's unfortunately a little difficult to see both of these sets of data of cards on screen at the same time, but they are running Cruise, whereas I am running Dig. I think Dig is a slightly more powerful card, but I don't think the deck wants to run more than one Delve card, which is why I went for Dig. It's an instant. You get to see 7 cards and pick 2 rather than just blind draw 3. Which is why I went for this over the Treasure Cruise. One of the things I don't know how this happened. I could have sworn I had Oko in my deck. I may have had it at one point in a build. I may have cut around as I was adjusting the color density and ended up leaving Oko on the sidelines. I think that's pretty much a big oversight on my side, but I didn't actually fully realize somehow until launching this comparison. But yeah, as you can see, they kept the save to Wavefinder in, which I just cut in the previous week, and yeah, other than that, they have a couple of things to slow down your opponents, right? Unable to Scream, Witness Protection, Make Disappear. They have this Turtles in Time, which is a big, expensive draw 7, similar to Time Twister. I have Traumatic Critique, which is a useful card. Probably another one that I could think about including, but especially with how big the mana we can go in our deck. But yeah, not currently in our list. Escape to the Wilds, a way to play an extra land on a turn while also giving you potentially 5 extra cards to play. Proctor's Gaze, another bounce spell, but that also ramps 4 mana. They have Dragonmaster Outcast, again fairly useful, but it's got to survive until upkeep. That's not something I think I want to be investing a 1 mana spell in. In terms of the overall plan of the deck, their deck is a little more grindy, right? It has a few more ways to slow your opponents down try and buy a bit of time to get your game plan online, right? It has a single counter spell, a few more removal spells, these enchantments that can lock down or turn off a really powerful utility creature. They have the Cyclonic Rift to reset opponent's board, Brotherhood's End, which can cover, sweep a lot of the cheaper things off the table. Whereas for me, what you'll see a lot of here is land shooters, cheaper ways to get more lands in play, ways for those lands to accelerate you, more static ways to get extra land drops on the battlefield, Bring to Light for being able to go get either Omnath or Scapeshift, depending on what you need, things like that. The Kazandu Mammoth, like very good card to Earthbend. I also have Barsing Say, ways to protect lands you have in play, get extra value, extra land drops out of those lands. So that's kind of where the decks are different, and then kind of just looking through, obviously a lot of similarities. Full two-thirds of the deck, the same structure, same cards. We're really just talking about the support side of things, which is where we see the differences. One thing I will note for this league, I think something in how the tournament organizer bot was set up, the swaps aren't propagating correctly. I have been keeping a deck list which is up to date, obviously for these videos, to make sure that I'm showing you the latest. However, I will say earlier on in the league, I believe after round 1, my opponent did make another change, which is from their deck they removed Clothis and replaced it with another cantrip, another card draw spell with Consult the Star Charts. So just to make everyone know, that is one change that my opponent has made that is not represented in this list. So we're looking at 35 differences to 65 similarities. But with these similarities, it's gonna be interesting to see. Obviously, the disruption that my opponent has is not necessarily the most useful against my version of the deck, because of how all-in and less interactive my version has been. Obviously, we both have mana dorks. We have small creatures that enable the process, enable the acceleration of the deck, and so those can be targets for these. But I think this is going to be very interesting to see which deck on the day performs better. I think, honestly, if I'm, to be fully transparent, I believe Hiatus has a lot more reps on this type of deck than I do. But I think either way, it's going to be a super interesting matchup, and we'll see how it goes. So with that, I will be right back with the start of the match. Okay, and we are back and just about to hop into the match. Okay, looks like we lost the die roll. I don't think that's going to be a huge deal in this match, but we shall see. Okay, we have 2 lands and a bunch of 3-drops. I don't think that is a keepable hand. I think this doesn't do anything. If we don't draw a land, we don't do anything. So, and turn 3 probably a little slow. So I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is also maybe a little awkward. But I think this is better. Is this better than a 5? We can find land, which we have. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mulligan this as well. Okay, this is a much more reasonable keep. I'm gonna take the first year, the Corsair, and Probably the Lotus Cobra, as we don't have any sackable lands. I'm going to put the yeah, I'm going to put the Thundering Falls back and the Ramanap, and we'll start with this. Okay. Play this Studios first year. So this comes online at 6 or more lands. So we got a little bit of time to deal with it, but we do want to yeah, we're going to want to keep our land to begin with. I'm going to play the Lotus Cobra here, and I will also attack. So the hope is next turn we can Rampant Growth. So if we Rampant Growth, we get a land which gives us 1 mana, but these both come in tapped. So I think for this, I'm going to play this. I'm going to keep that on top. I'm going to add green and then play this Corsair. And then no attacks. So having the fungus allows us to deal with the Kiki-Jiki if we need to. But next turn we do technically have an Omnath. Because we have red, blue, green, and then the land entering will give us the white. So, yeah, I'm going to play this land, gain a life, add white, play Omnath, and draw a card. Okay, we have elves on top of the deck. Now, interestingly, do we want to attack here? We can only really attack with the Crucifix. They would be able to tireless double block here and just trade 1 for 1. No, I think we are good to stay where we are. So they are at 5 lands. That is interesting. So they can sack 2 clues to make this a 5/4. I think in that case we let this go. Don't want to lose our Omnath just yet. Okay. So if we play the fungus, we can use it to draw a card and put a land into play, which will, and also we can Rampant Growth, which will allow us to hit 3 land drops. I think I'm going to try and do that. But I think I'm going to play this, because this gives us 2 chances. Green. What do we need? I'm just going to get an island here. I'm going to now, because we didn't hit the... I'm going to get rid of this. And then going to use 2 mana we have. I'm going to make this commercial district into a creature. And use this Argoth, this land Argoth. I think at this point, I am going to be double blocking this. This is coming through, so this is 4, potentially 9 damage, but I think that's fine. We get the Surveil off the commercial district. We are going to just add green because we don't need to do anything with it. Okay, we're going to get a couple of Tireless Tracker triggers here. Here we go. So this means that they're setting up for a Scapeshift next turn. Yep. So we don't have a land on top. I am going to cast the Shared Roots. Oh, this is a basic land. Aha. I'm going to get the forest into play. I am going to okay, so unfortunately we have not hit what we needed to. We kind of needed to hit more lands. At this point, we're about to get Scapeshifted. The Dragonback Assault, which was on the top of the library earlier, would have been probably useful, but we shoveled it away. Same with the Earthbender Ascension. I think at this point we want to push with probably as much damage as we can. We can use the Cobra to block the tracker. We also have this bear. Yeah, not having any way to deal with this was a little awkward. Obviously we don't have a lot of removal in our deck. This is one of the issues that we do face. So in most matchups, this is going to die to a Stiff Breeze, but we don't we don't really have a Stiff Breeze. So what are we hoping to do here? Obviously, they're going to be putting quite a number of lands into play. They floated extra mana. They're going to get a significant number of Field of the Dead triggers. And a lot of clues. They still have 3 mana on deck. They could cast Uro here as well, which would potentially get them another land drop. Or they could just use it to crack a couple of clues, make the tracker bigger. Okay, they are going for the Uro line. Okay, so I'm going to play, at this point I'm just playing what I've got in my hand. See what's on top. We have this Ketria Triome. I'm actually going to play that. That draws me a card. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. 7 mana with the... However, I mean, honestly, right now, we've got plenty of life. I mean, we're taking 9 in the air, plus the Uro attack. At this point, we're just holding on. They have 3 fetches, 3 fetches in play, so they're able to go create another 3 zombies. Keep trying to read Tannock, but the the stack keeps it obscuring. Okay, to draw a card on the second resolution. There we go. They have taken out the best chance we had of a sweeper. I think if we survive this turn, our best option will be to discard 2 creatures. Unfortunately, we're going to have to trade off probably quite a number of our 2/2s. Okay, they're killing Nissa too. That goes in front of that. We'll block. So if we block like this, we take 5 plus 10. We take 20. We go to 3. I don't see a better way to block right now. So I'm going to We go to 8. Well, we got the Titania, but I don't know that that's going to save us. Let's see what happens with this. I don't think we want the analyze the pollen. However, 1, 2, 3. We do not quite have the mana to play the Dragonback Assault. So I'm going to concede. We got very close. Obviously needed to hit 3 lands in a turn with the Omnath to clear the board, and obviously the Dragonback Assault, we needed the mana to cast it. But opponent was able to find their tutor, hit their Scapeshift, and yeah, we were very much, both sides were kind of struggling to find their removal. Oh, this is interesting. I think I'm going to keep this. We have a turn 2 Traveling Chocobo, which we can then hopefully get maybe a double Surveil off. I am just going to get am I getting a basic forest here, or am I getting a stomping ground? I think we have all of our mana that we could want color-wise from what we have here, so there we go. Well, in that case, I'm going to play this Hedge Maze. I'm going to be keeping that. That is a good good board clearer. As is this, but we're a little ways off from our 5 and 6 mana spells. I'm going to attack first, and then play the Chocobo. Oh, interesting. So there's Lotus Cobra. So I'm gonna get. If I play this and fetch, play this, that's 2 mana. Fetch, that's another 2 mana. And then, so I can play the Emeritus this turn with a double Surveil. I'm going to get a blue-red, probably get Thundering Falls here for the double Surveil. It's going to go into the bin. I will leave that on top. And then I will cast this Emeritus. And no attacks. I think a turn for Emeritus, Lotus Cobra into Emeritus, really powerful turn, obviously. Ward 2 makes this very difficult to get rid of. At this point in the game, they would need... This is an interesting attack. They might just need the mana for the Emeritus. I'm not going to block with it. I don't think I mind taking 2 damage here. I'm not going to get baited. Okay, they have a Vibrance. Are they going to hit the Chocobo or are they going to hit the Cobra? Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Got their Field of the Dead. I think I'm going to play as Ketria Triumph first. It's a lot of lands. I'm going to attack in the air. So they can Kiki copy Vibrance, but that doesn't give them additional mana. I think at this point the Elf can get in front of the Vibrance, preserve a little bit more life. It's a 5/5. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to Well-Timed Explosion. I am going to just discard these 2 forests. I am then going to, I think, hit this Broker's Hideout. We have a Clothis, this Emeritus. I'm actually going to get rid of the Vibrance. And then no attacks. We can't get through the Tree Folk right now. Earthburner Ascension, very useful. Oh, 1 further turn away from... Ooh, they must have some lands in hand, which will give them some good Field of the Dead triggers. Luckily, at this point, we have the Dragonback Assault, which will allow us to clear some of this board. I'll block this one, so that's we're taking 12. Yeah, I think that's fine. I will just get an island. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 8. I'm going to leave some of the fetch lands. So now they give this tree folk trample. It's a 10/10. Oh, yep. Then we are very much dead. Okay. Well, opponent found Field of the Dead twice. We didn't find it a single time. The Dragonback Assault could have been good had they not hit Field of the Dead. I'm going to let them finish popping off and killing me properly. It's only fair. But we will block as much as we can. Even if I'd left this back, I'm still dead. Yeah, -6, even with 5 power on the board, an extra 5 power blocking. Wouldn't have done anything. Okay, well, that was another defeat 0-2. I will be back shortly with a little post-match breakdown. Don't go anywhere. And here we are back at the deck screen. It's a couple of days later since the match. As you may be able to see, I have already kind of made my changes for the next week, as discussed in the pre-match. I think Oko is include, and I also made one other change, but I will talk about those in the next video. So, obviously, not the best showing for the deck. I think the lack of removal was really apparent in that match. Obviously, in retrospect, trading the Studios first year for their 1/1 dragon creating creature would have been really smart. But I didn't know that at the time. I wanted to be able to ramp. I had the Lotus Cobra. And so wanting to kind of execute my game plan, I think keeping the first year around was what I wanted to do at the time, but not being able to find any other removal or any real removal. I mean, the deck doesn't run a ton. Definitely made for a big challenge. I think there was definitely a few misplays there. I could have used the fungus to draw the shared roots to get an extra 4 damage to the opponent from the Omnath, because that would have given me a 3rd land drop for the turn. I had the mana. And then after that, leaving the shared roots on top when it only finds a basic. In my brain, it was Sylvan Scrying and not shared roots, which is why I ended up leaving it there after the commercial district came back from the earth after it died as an earthbent creature. Again, another mistake. But I think really the difference in both games was, well, at least in the first game, my opponent found a way to cast Scapeshift before I did. They solved the equation and used it to find and cast Scapeshift, and that allowed them to go wide enough to take over the game. And in the second game, again, they were able to get a land tutor, which was able to go find them Field of the Dead. They also were able to create some other pressure. The Renin 7 being able to both create the Tree Folk and then put a bunch of lands into play to make the Tree Folk huge, copying it with Fable of the Mirror Breaker or the Kiki Jiki, and then having the Earthbender Ascension in play with those land drops to give them trample alongside some Field of the Dead zombies, right? Like, apart from a couple of spells, like the 1/1 dragon creating creature, the cards that made the difference, that won them the game, were basically cards that we have in our deck. And for them, they showed up, and for us, as didn't. That was, in essence, the difference between the two decks. They got to execute the game plan that the deck is built to do, and we kind of struggled. We got the Omnath, but Omnath is not all that great into a wide board on your opponent's side, right? He can sustain if he comes down early, gain you life. If you're able to get the 3 land drops, can deal up 4 damage, can clear planeswalkers, but doesn't clear creatures really well, doesn't have trample. Obviously the acceleration, really useful if you can accelerate into something else, but not hitting any of the more flexible land shooters. No Golos, no Bring to Light for the Scapeshift, no Vibrance. No, didn't hit Sylvan Scrying, Expedition Map, World Map. Like, all of these cards that find us, either find Scapeshift or find Field of the Dead. We certainly had the land count to hit Field of the Dead and get that online. We just didn't find any of those. The things we did find, we had a chance to keep us in the game, but Dragonback Assault probably could have been cast a turn earlier, but came a little late. In the match where we drew it, in the game where we drew it, but yeah, this was a kind of, with the mirror, this was kind of a 2 ships passing in the night kind of match. We do not have neither deck has a ton of interaction with the others. The Ill-Timed Explosion with the Dragonback Assault on my side. But Hiatus was able to, their deck did the thing better than our deck did the thing, which happens. That is just a fact of a heavy synergy deck like this. That's going to be an issue that you run into. So with that, again, 0-3. Not an ideal situation to be in for this league, but it's been a fun deck to pilot, and we will see whether we can scrape a win at the end in the 0-3 bracket, the 0-3 match. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world. I think I wouldn't mind taking another look at this deck in the future, maybe adjusting the balance, the interactions, maybe building into more of a control shell. There's a discussion of maybe even going Bant and cutting more of the red. Obviously keeping red for Omnath and potentially Dragonback, but maybe going heavier into a white splash for some of the utility and protection, wrath effects, things like that you can get from having white and blue in your deck in this format. So we'll see. That might be a future video discussing a rebuild on this deck. But for now, I'm going to bid everyone farewell. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. All of that really helps. Obviously, small channel. I would love to grow and reach more people, introduce more people to this format. I think it's a very fun format and can make for some interesting gameplay. So until next time, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.